Good morning, students. I am Krina Dayani and I am your chemistry teacher. In our last session, we have completed our chapter of chemistry, that is atoms and molecules. Now we are on our next topic, that is structure of atom. As your boards exams are very near and I hope your exams will going well. So best of luck for your exams. So we have already discussed about atoms and molecules. So our next topic of discussion will be structure of atom. So in structure of atom, first theory was propounded by Dalton, that is Dalton's atomic theory, because Dalton discovered the term atom and he said that atom is an indivisible particle of matter. So what we see here we see a brick wall. What we are going to see here is that the brick wall is consisting of same number of bricks which are equally alike and equal in number, having the same dimensions here. So what we see here is the brick wall is made up of same type of bricks. Same type of bricks means same color, it has the same shape and it is having a same size. So brick wall consists of same number of elements. It means same number of any component that will be having a same color, same shape and it will having a same size. So Dalton propounded some postulates regarding the atomic theory. So here the first postulate is, during a chemical combination, atoms of different element combine in simple whole number ratio to form compounds. It means if I consider the two different elements and I am going to form a compound, the compound we get in a simple whole number ratio. Suppose I am considering here another example. We are considering an example of formulation of water. In formation of water, H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. So what we are seeing here, H2 and O2 combines in an equal ratio to give H2O, which is in the simple whole number ratio. So different chemical reaction, different elements combine to give a product only in simple whole number ratio. Now all the matter is made up of a very small particle, and these particle we are termed as atom, which we have discussed in our previous section. Now if we going to break an atom cannot be further divided into subparticles. This concept is propounded by Dalton, but later on this theory is discarded by several co-scientists. Dalton said that atom is indivisible, indestructible and it cannot be divided into further particles. All the atoms of one element have the same mass, atom of two elements will have a different mass. Here we are considering weight of two substances here. If we have the same element, it will have the same components. If we have the different elements, we have a different composition of substances over here. Atom of different elements can combine in a whole number ratio to form compound. This topic or this postulate I have discussed earlier, that different elements can be combined to form a whole number ratio compound. Now during any chemical reaction, how different elements combine in simple whole number ratio, this I have explained in terms of the H2O. Here we have hydrogen atoms, here we have oxygen atoms. We have two different elements combined in a simple whole number ratio. Now all the elements of the same element are identical and all the elements of different element will be different. For example, here I have considered a gold ring. What we actually see in the gold ring, the every element is made up of the same type of the atoms. But in the silver ring, there is no component of a gold ring. In silver ring, all the atoms will constitute a silver type particle. Now atoms of different element differ in mass, size and chemical properties. Here we have considered about two elements. Suppose element number A is denoted by green and element number B is denoted by purple. If there are two different elements, then their size will be different, their mass will be different and their chemical properties will also be going to be different. Now, number and kind of atoms in a given compound is fixed. What we are seeing here in a pencil, we have a graphite over here. What actually we see here is the graphite lid is made up of small number of particles, and these particles are called atoms. So in given compound, the atoms of a compound and number and kind of atoms is always fixed. Atoms of same element can combine in same number of ratio, and atom of different elements will have a different ratio. Here what we are discussing here we have taken a methane molecule and we have reacted it with two atoms of oxygen. What we are getting here, carbon dioxide molecules and two water molecules. It means same number of elements will combine in one or more ratio to give more than one type of product. So here we have formula for methane. We have CH4. We have taken two molecules of oxygen, that is T2O2. What we will get in the product, C will combine with O2 to give CO2 and two water molecules over here. So we see methane is a different compound, oxygen is a different element. It means two different elements or two same elements can combine in more than one whole number ratio to give a particular product. Now these are actually the postulates or merits of Dalton's atomic theory. So Dalton's atomic theory is more clear when we have studied about the law of constant proportion and law of chemical combination. So it is simpler to prove the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory by the law of chemical combination of mass and law of constant proportion. Now, what are the main drawbacks of Dalton atomic theory? Firstly, Dalton said that atom is the smallest unit of matter and we cannot further divide it into the more simpler part. But later many theories have been come and it has been discussed that atom is made up of the three subatomic particles, that is electron, proton and neutron. Second, Dalton could not explain why the different atoms or elements have different mass, different size or different properties. It could not explain about how different elements combine to form a compound or a molecule. It could not express that how compounds are formed and elements are bound by which of the force. It does not give a satisfactory explanation of the difference between the ultimate particle of an element or compound. Next, Dalton could not explain how subatomic particles exist, what will happen to the isotopes of the element and isobars of the element, and it could not prove the law of constant proportion for some of the elements. One element I am considering here. We have formula for sugar. We are considering it cane sugar. So, the formula for cane sugar is C12H22O11. This is a general formula for sugar we have, but Dalton said that elements combine in simple whole number ratio to give a particular product. But what actually we are looking here is these compounds are not combined in the simpler form. So Dalton's atomic theory will fail to explain this point. So in this series, many scientists came and they gave their different theories regarding the subatomic particle called atom. So students, we have learned about Dalton's atomic theory and I hope this theory must be clear to you. So Dalton said that an atom is an indivisible particle of matter but this theory has been discarded by many of his co-scientists, and they said that an atom also consists of subatomic particles, and these three particles are electron, proton and neutron. We have a one drawback in Dalton's atomic theory, that it could not explain the subatomic particles. Dalton could not explain the subatomic particles of the atom, and we have three subatomic particles of atom. And these particles are electron, proton and neutron. So these are basically the three subatomic particles of an atom, and these are electron, proton and neutron. So Dalton's discovery is discarded by many of his co-scientists, and different scientists came and gave their different atomic models. So we have different atomic models. After Dalton's atomic theory, the next scientist came who gave its model is J.J. Thomson, and its model name is Thomson's atomic model. Next one is Rutherford's atomic model. Rutherford's atomic model. And our third category is Bohr's atomic model. So after Dalton's theory is discarded, the three scientists came and they gave different theories regarding this. First one is our Thomson's atomic model. Second is Rutherford's atomic model. And last one is Bohr's atomic model. We will discuss these models one by one, but before that, we will learn how the discovery of these subatomic particles will take place. So, we will write about some characteristics of these subatomic particles, that is electron, proton and neutron. If someone wants to copy it, please copy it now. So, before discussing these models, firstly we will learn about the subatomic particles. In the category of subatomic particles, we have first particle, that is called electron. So, what electron is? Discovery of electron will be done by J.J. Thomson, electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson. What will be the amount of charge carried by it? Charge will be on minus 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb, and this will be the experimental value calculated by Millikan's oil drop experiment. Electron is basically denoted by E. We will write E negative. Electrons are actually the negatively charged particles So these are the negatively charged particles. Next, it can be represented as electron. Here it is -1 and it is having here 0. -1 and 1, it means the negative charge in the negative value in the subscript denoted its charge and the uppermost value denoted its mass. So this is the representation of electron. So what we see here is electrons are basically the negatively charged particles and they are denoted by the symbol E minus and they are having a charge of 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. So the atom basically consists of 3 particles. Electron, proton and neutron. These are actually the subatomic particles of an atom. So we have learned about what actually the electrons are. We will discuss about its discovery further after. So now our second topic is about proton. What actually the protons are? Protons are the positive charge particles. These are just opposite to that of the electrons. So discovery of proton is done by Goldstine. Proton is discovered by Goldstine. It is necessary to learn the name of the scientist because it may be very important from your exam point of view. So, electron was discovered by Sir J.J. Thomson and proton was discovered by Goldstine. Now, proton are the sphere of positive charge. Protons are actually the positively charged particles. They are having a charge of plus 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb and their general representation is we will write proton as a P, charge is having a +1 and mass is having a +1. So here in subscript +1 denotes its charge and for mass it is not necessary to write +1. So it is the symbolic representation for a proton. Now we are going to discuss about third subatomic particle. The third subatomic particle is called neutron. We have third subatomic particles and the third subatomic particle is neutron. The theory of neutron and the neutron particle was discovered by Sir James Chadwick. Sir James Chadwick discovered about the neutron. Neutrons are actually the neutral particles. They are neither positive nor negative. Neutrons are neutral particles. Charge on them is 0. Their general representation is N having a charge 0 and mass 1. 0 in the subscript represent its charge and 1 in the subscript represent its mass. So it is all about the subatomic particles of the neutron atom. We have 3 particles over here: electron, proton and neutron. Electrons are actually the negatively charged particle, protons are positively charged particles, and neutrons are the neutral particles having no charge on them. So we will learn a simple table for the general representation of atom. So now we are going to learn about the simplest characteristics of electron, proton and neutron by a help of simplified table. So we have a general representation of table over here. We have 3 subatomic particles. First is electron, second one is proton, and third one is neutron. Now we will deal with the property of electron, proton and neutron one by one. The first point we have considered here about its discovery. So discovery of electron is done by Thomson. Discovery of proton is done by E. Goldstone. And discovery of neutron is done by James Chadwick. So this is about the discovery of electron. Second point is symbol. How we will represent the electron? Electron is denoted by a symbol E, proton is denoted by a symbol P, and neutron here will be denoted by a symbol small n. Now their third characteristic is about charge on them. So charge will be, in electron we have a charge of -1, for proton we have a charge of +1, and for neutron we have 0 charge. Now we have our fourth characteristic about nature of particles. Electron are negatively charged particles. Protons here are positively charged particles. And neutrons are actually neutral particles. Now we will discuss about the relative charge on them and their mass and relative mass. So we have our fifth category, absolute charge. Charge on electron will be minus 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. For proton, we have a charge of plus 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. And as I said you earlier that neutrons are actually the negative particles, so they will carry a zero charge on them. Now our sixth category is about their relative mass. We have discussed about 5 categories here. First is about the discovery, second is about the symbol representation, third is about the charge on them, fourth nature, fifth absolute charge. Now we will discuss about the relative mass of the electron, proton and neutron. In case of relative mass, electron will having a charge of 1/1837 times the mass of the hydrogen atom. Proton will having a mass of 1 and neutron will carry the no mass, so its mass will be, it will having a charge 0 and mass is equal to plus 1. So electron is having a mass of 1/1837 times of that of the hydrogen atom. Now we will write about its absolute mass. Absolute mass I am writing over here. We have first category electron, second is proton, and third one is neutron. So we have a value of absolute charge for them. Electron will having a mass of 9.1 into 10 raised to the power minus 28 kg. Proton will having a mass of 1.6725 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 kg. And neutron will having a mass of 1.6248 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 kg. So it is all about their relative mass, relative charge, absolute mass and absolute charge. So this table will help you to learn the symbols and their representation of the subatomic particles in electron, proton and neutron. Now we will discuss about the discovery of electron, proton and neutron in our next class. This lecture is over for today. Thank you so much and have a nice day.